Hey everyone, Kuro Fry here, and today we're going to be jumping in and taking the first glimpse into Colony Ship, a post-Earth role-playing game. So, this is one of those kind of like point-and-clicker games where you actually have to go around, you buy your equipment, buy supplies and such. You can also customize your character with implants. Other than that, this is a game where you have your character sheet and you can also be able to customize your stats at the start. From there, like I said, just have to go around and be able to complete your missions, get into fights, and complete the game pretty much. So let's go ahead and jump into new game and check out what we got here. So let's go ahead and change our name here. We'll go with the usual Kuro Fry. Alright, and now we'll go ahead and choose our character's portrait. So you do actually have a nice selection of portraits you can choose from. So I will go with that one, the Asian looking dude. Alright, and you got your little zoom in right there. Do a little 360 look at your character. Alright. Go with nice little tan right there. Choose your face. It doesn't look like there's much of a selection for faces. We'll go with that one. We'll give him a nice little haircut here. Let's change the hair color so we can actually see what we're looking at. Oh yeah, that looks beautiful. Okay, I will go with that one right. I did not see that side part there. That one looks fine. Now we go to our beard section. Oh my. Good old mutt chops there. Looks beautiful. Let's go with that. Now let's change our hair color back to black. Tattoos. So you can give your guys several tattoos here. You can give your Born Free trademark tattoo right there. But I'm a fan of the good old cybernetic look. Scars. Make our guy look like there's been a little bar fight going on right there. Good. Now we can customize our gloves. We'll go with the fingerless. Okay. Now this is where you get to your stats and available skill stat points right here. You have your good old 6 attributes here, and depending on the attributes you choose, as you can see over on this side, it unlocks additional skills for you. And stats do cap out at 10. So as you're looking at this, it gives you a brief description of each one. For example, strength modifies melee damage and interactions with brute force. Constitution is your health, and implant tolerance. So if we cap that right here, your max implants, you can get up to 7 implants, which boosts your character also. For example, you get extra perception, extra strength, intelligence, and such and so forth. And then we have our dexterity, which is your determined action points, and interactions requires that speed and reaction. Perception modifies accuracy with all weapons. Intelligence is a determined number of tag skill modifiers, so tag skills right here, how many of these we can choose. Charisma determines your number of party members and affected interactions required for personal magnetism. So basically, you could attract people to join you. So these are all the skills that you start out with, and since I am a long range user, I do want to bump that up a little bit. We'll take it up to 8, 9. No, let's do 8. I do want to do Constitution because I do want extra implants. The implants are rather impressive from my understanding, so you can actually bump everything up. And then we'll take everything else up to 6. Now, that did unlock a lot over here. Like I said, it's based off your stats. So, we do have some that's still locked, but that stuff that's going to be a little bit more difficult. For example, these require a max of 10. And if I focus on one, then it might be adverse in regards to later in the game. But as you can see, everything is either average or great. So I am average. Alright, so now we're going over here. And we're going to be selecting our skills we want to use. Got 4 available points. So basically we're going to find the ones we want. And we're going to focus on those. So I do want to get lock picking. We're going to do biotech. So this is primarily for good old your health care, pretty much. I do like rifles, and we will go with bladed weapons for close. Now, unfortunately, it does look like my character is going to be focusing on rifles and biotech. Okay. So we got that out of the way. Now we go over here and select 1 feat. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at this. We got gifted, which gives us 2 additional stat points and 3 skill points. But that's it. Once those are gone, you are stuck where you're at. Everything else is pretty much locked right here. I do wish I could get that regeneration. That would be nice. We got combat. Charger grants 4 AP dedicated to movement for each skill level. For critical thinker, critical chance, critical damage, and takedown. Fast draw adds 15 initiative, 4 action points for the first turn. Reaction plus 10 reaction hits added stagger. Okay. Quick fingers cuts reload, lock picking, inventory actions, and looting. AP cost in half rounded up. Lone wolf evasion reaction. This one I do not know if it's going to be worth it because we do have parties, and the lone wolf might be a little bit annoying if you are set on the party aspect. If you're by yourself, yes, it's great, but if you're in a party for majority of the game, this will be like not having the feat. Alright, we're getting down to defenses. We got Artful Dodger. Evasion plus 20 when 7 HP or less. Tough standard plus 10 HP. HP plus 10. Enemies critical hit chance capped at 5%. So that means they get 5% chance to do their crit hits on you. So that's actually pretty good right there. But we'll keep going and see what else we got here. When not in cover, ballistic resistance plus 1, evasion. Ooh. Now, granted, you'll not always be in cover, so that will be interesting. When you kill somebody, your next attack will have 50% crit rate on kills plus 6 action point. Max implants. Okay. +1 tag skill. So that actually gives us that and extra 20% extra experience. Okay. Now we get down to melee. Perception 8. We do have that. So melee aimed attacks. Aim +10. Critical strike +5. Flurry attacks actually +10. Okay. Evasion. Melee 15 range actually. So this one will pretty much hamper my rifle. Specialized weapons for your blunt or bladed. Master Blaster energy weapons. Improved aim penetration. Okay. Ranged weapon specialization. I do like that. Rifleman. So it does improve my accuracy. Then we have stealth down here. Noise generated per tile. Prowler sneak increased by 10. And tunnel runner moving costs 1 AP. Okay, so I'm just going to go with that. I'm primarily going to be a rifleman with this character. Alright, so next is the Year of Our Lord 2754. You will never feel the sun's warmth under the blue sky, never hear the winds in the branches of a tree, and never swim in the ocean because you had the misfortune to be born on the ship. You have never seen Earth, and you'll never see Proxima Centauri either. Your past and future both sacrificed by some dim and nameless ancestor to the greater good of the mission. Starfarer, they call her. A pretty name for a retrofitted interplanetary freighter. She had already been 20 years in service when she was rechristened, and showing every minute of it. No one is certain the ship will actually reach its destination, and nobody much cares, since no one alive now will live to see it. Fatalism is the prevailing philosophy of the shipborne. Make the best life you can, and consign all your what-ifs and might have-beens to the void. Alright, so we can answer a few questions here to define our character's beliefs and opinions while learning more about the ship. Or we can go ahead and skip it, but we'll go ahead and do that. The ship was launched by a neo-Christian conglomerate dedicated to establish a religious colony on a distant world. The original 50,000 passengers, the so-called first generation, were true believers in the mission. They sacrificed whatever lives they had on Earth and demanded strict obedience to the law of God and the ship from their children. Unfortunately, the generations that followed lacked their forebears' fervent will to sacrifice. The satisfaction led to open revolt against the authorities, called the mutiny, and the mutiny metastasized, into a civil war. While the mutineers dealt a decisive blow to the old order, they did not eradicate it completely. When the fires died and the smoke finally dissipated, 3 factions emerged from the wreckage of the old order: the Protectors of the Mission, the Brotherhood of Liberty, and the Church of the Elect. Each of them promised their own versions of the future. You always thought that rebelling against ship authority was a mistake. The environment itself is hostile enough to human life, and order is always preferred to chaos. Mutineers did the right thing. Why should the shipborne blindly bow to the edicts of their centuries-dead ancestors? Though they would deny it, the mutineers were fulfilling God's will when they toppled the old order. All shipborne bends to God's will, just as all events proceeded according to his plan. Who cares? We got enough problems now without fighting over history with a bunch of fanatics. Alright. So this here is our options for this to. Let's go with. So, according to this story, basically these people were trying to start a new their religion on a different planet. So they ignored everything else and was the first generation to basically sacrifice their previous world to start new on another one. So let's go with let's go with that one. Why should we follow the dead ancestors when, things aren't looking so good after, being on the ship for a century? In fact, you would go to say life is change and stagnant is to die. The systems which the shipborne are governed must evolve. Tyrants have always justified their decisions with noble motives, but all they care about is power. That power rightfully belongs to the people. Death to tyrants. Violence is never the best solution, but it's sometimes the only solution. Alright. So, we got these going on. I am a believer that the power belongs to the people, but also all three of these pretty much I can see the views on each one. So we got, if we don't change to our environment, we're just going to die on our ship, because the ship is degrading. It's been out in space for apparently centuries, but we can't just be like throwing everything to the people, because unfortunately we have our own problems to deal with and can't fully focus on the ship. We have to have people who, each section has to take care of each other. But then again, violence only causes chaos and destruction of everything around you. So everything here would work best together, but unfortunately the game's forcing you to choose one. So if we're all going down, we're going down with some violence. The ship suffered extensive damage during the Civil War, but remains operational. The hull was breached in several places, and frantic efforts to avoid a meltdown crippled the main reactor. Radiation increased in places to lethal levels, and several areas remain dangerous to this day. And a small percentage of children in the habitat were firstborn deformed. They were branded mutants and immediately shunned. The young were abandoned, and those whose defect didn't manifest until later were driven out. With condition of the fusion reactor degrading to dangerous levels, and number of volunteers for jobs in areas exposed to radiation remaining few, the mutants negotiated a pact with the Covenant, granting them protection from harassment and violence in exchange for their maintenance of the engines and other vital ship's vital ship systems. You've always thought that the mutants are abomination and no. Mutants provide themselves useful with taking care of the reactor. Who's better to be exposed than already affected by it? Nah. We're all God's children, even with those with webbed fingers and deformed faces. Are you so beautiful you can shun them? Maybe. In saving the ship, they saved the world as we know it. That debate can never be repaid, or that debt can never be repaid. If anything, we need to embrace the possibility of mutations as critical to our survival in this strange new world. That one's pretty spot on there. They're keeping the ship, in good condition while we're just, freeloading off of them. Ostracizing fellow humans based on genetic difference strong. Hopefully our descendants will live in harmony in the future colony. So this is embracing the mutations, and this one is my understanding of just coinciding with each other. So let's go with, they're saving the ship, they're repairing it for us. So we need them as much as they need us. The place you call home is known as the pit, and to some more affectionately as the free city. Calling the towers of containers rising from the depths of a cargo hold a city is a bit of a stretch, and so is the other half of it. No one with no kind of law government. Freedom mostly means you're free to kill or be killed. On the plus side, housing is cheap, and keeping overhead low is priority when you have nothing. The real city, a metropolis sprawling across many decks, is called the habitat. It offers much better living conditions for those who can afford it, but to live there, you have to pick a side among the factions vying for control. Nobody in the pit gives a damn about the struggles, but like Earth before it, nothing in this world is free. Just keep in mind you might get more than you sign up for. As far as you are concerned, true freedom means being free from laws passed down from your supposed betters. Some kind of rules are necessary, or else will descend into anarchy. If freedom means living in an interplanetary shipping container, and sleeping with a gun under your pillow, these pit dwellers can keep it. Personal freedom is a luxury the ship cannot afford. To serve the state is to serve your brother, to serve your sister, and to serve yourself. Why can't people understand that? So, basically, you are done with the pit here at this point, and you're trying to figure out what you're going to be leaning towards at this point. So, when you're stuck in a spaceship in space traveling to God knows where, I hate to say it, personal freedom is a luxury. You are no longer free. You're in a container out in space with just a small piece of metal protecting you from the outside. So, in this situation, yes, you actually should serve the state in order to survive. Now, when you make planetfall, that's a whole different story. So we'll go with that one. Ship is en route to Proxima B, an Earth-like planet orbiting Proxima Centauri. After launch, a deep space probe transmitted high-detail images of the surface, which revealed one minor setback. This very habitable world is already inhabited. Since the voyage is estimated to take close to 400 years, it's possible by the time that the ship arrives, the colonists will enter a mature civilization corresponding to Earth's late Middle Ages. If that's the case, what setbacks? Though unanticipated, slaves will provide an excellent resource for the colony. Will make efforts within reasons to accommodate the savages. Setting aside clear demarcated zone for them to pursue their own lives, we must make every effort to live in harmony with the New World's native sons and daughters and learn all that we can from them, or we will be guests in the New World living among the local population, accepting their culture and traditions as their own. So basically, we acclimate to their lives or we live in harmony with them. So I'm just going to go with live in harmony because we are invading them and we don't want to just start out. Actually, we'll probably do that anyway. Start a whole new world war just to take over dominance with how this ship looks. Alright. As inevitable happens in dark and challenging times, some people turn to God for reassurance, the promise of an end to pain and hunger, or failing at an end, at least a purpose. The Church of the Elect rejected both the protectors of the mission and Brotherhood of Liberty as worldly fools distracted by politics and their own egos, teaching their adherents that they were chosen by God. The Church frames the journey of the ship as a centuries-long test of faith. We all face a series of difficult trials, yes, but with a very definite end. When the ship arrives at her destination, Judgment Day awaits every citizen. The righteous will be welcomed into the promised land of Proxima B, while the unrepentant will be returned to the hell from which we fled, Earth, to suffer for all eternity. The way you see it, religion is the opium of the people. It doesn't matter if God exists, people need to believe in something bigger than themselves. Faith has always been mankind's greatest strength and defining trait. We must preserve it at all costs. Honor he who is reborn, and you too shall be reborn into a new world that waits at the end of the long journey. Come the dawn. So basically, these people think it's a trial, so to present it to them by God, to endure all this pain and hunger, to be welcomed to the promised land. So, I am not one to agree with what this is stating here. It's basically blind faith at this point in regards to what they're doing. So, in my existence on this ship, I'm just going to say it doesn't matter if God exists. People need to believe in something bigger than themselves. That can speak volumes in and of itself. So you don't have to believe in God on this. You just need to believe in something that you can get yourself to be driven to achieve your needs. So let's go with that. The Protector's one truth is the mission. And the sole way to ensure successful completion of the mission is to follow the old way. The ways of the fathers and the forefathers and the founding fathers are all together beamed together the beam upon which the ship travels to our ultimate destination. The mutiny which though their steadfast and timely intervention was thankfully aborted, was the ultimate betrayal of the old ways of everyone who had come before. The nullification of every sacrifice and every life dictated to the mission. Sworn to reign control of the ship, the Protectors will subjugate anyone who threatens the mission. Over the last century, they have managed to expand their enclave somewhat, but the Brotherhood is deeply entrenched. To overcome them with violence would result into massive loss of life, an unfortunate consequence which itself would endanger the mission. So, as it says, mission is to follow the old ways, the original ground rules. The fathers, the forefathers, and founding fathers unfortunately do not realize that being on a ship for close to 400 years, things can change dramatically. I mean, heck, look around the world. Within the last 10 years, things have changed greatly in just a short time. In one generation, everything's changed. So, unfortunately, I cannot agree with the old ways, because if you cannot adapt to change because of the old ways, then you're going to be stuck, and things tend to not want to stay stuck. It causes a lot of problems. But you need to keep some of the old ways and learn from the old ways to improve their ways, because it's basically constant improvement, constant changes is way to improve your life and to survive in this world of being stuck in a ship. So instead of embracing the future, the Protectors are clinging to long gone past. They're a problem, not the solution. So that's mostly true, but we need to see what else we got here. The Protectors should be more flexible if they want to attract more people to their cause. Are right about one thing: the mission is more important than our petty struggles. If it fails, then all sacrifice was for nothing. Born and raised on Earth, the founding fathers were wiser than any shipborn. So how can we question the path they laid out for us? To stay on the path, we must stand with the Protectors. So this one is another I hate to say a fanatical group that says these guys were right, they're always right, and will always be right. So that one's out of the question. But I do think they need to be flexible, because If they're not flexible, they can't adapt to change. And when you get to the new planet, things are going to change one way or another. Because, as it was said before, the new planet you're going to is inhabited already. And you cannot force an entire planet to adapt to your way of thinking. So they need to be flexible. The Brotherhood was formed to liberate the people from the shackles of the ship authority. Their first sally, which the fossils of the old world called mutiny, did not completely achieve the same. However, the Brotherhood was successful in establishing themselves as a significant power in the New World. Unfortunately, the Brotherhood's subsequent attempts to complete their emancipation of the enslavement, wherever they may be, ran into unexpected obstacles. Not only did the people refuse to cooperate with this noble mission, they often violently resisted, and sometimes even chose the protectors or the church over their own best interest. The war goes on, but will be fought on different battlefields and the different tactics. A non-military campaign to win over the people through reason and deceit, weakening the enemies from within, is the central pillar of the new strategy. So they're just trying to tear everything from within, rot out the core, and eventually it will collapse in on itself. So to survive, we must evolve, and the Brotherhood is merely an agent of change that drives this evolution. He who fights monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. That is also true. The Brotherhood did end the tyranny of the ship authority, giving us a chance in how to live our lives. They shouldn't try to take this choice away now. The best slave is the one who thinks he's free. They will thank the Brotherhood later for liberating them. So, I'm just going to do this one because I agree with that. You think you're taking out the monster, as it says here, but by the end of the day, you take them out to impose your own philosophy on the people and become a monster yourself. So, I've seen this happen a lot of times, so we'll go with that one. Your beliefs and opinion may change and evolve over the course of the game as you interact with factions, groups, and various individuals. Keep that in mind. Actions speak louder than words, and saying one thing and doing another won't fool people for long. So let's begin our adventure. Alright, so we're in the pit. Ever since you were a kid, this has been your home, a sprawling heap of vacant cargo containers slowly getting filled with those who couldn't afford to stay in the habitat, or needed to get away from its bosses and factions. Out here, folks have lived free and died fast, with those who survived earning their keep by either diving into the wreckage of mission control and bringing back valuable relics of the past, or figuring out a way to make money off the fools who are do the diving. From the day it sprang up like a patch and a mold on this rich substrate, the pit has been overshadowed by Jonas Redford, the Canny, KG, and son of a bitch who planted the first spike, the de facto mayor of a town with no government. Jonas holds court in the Promised Land, and the pit's only brothel and the base of operations for his network of thugs and whores. But as the pit grows, Jonas' seat at the top has gotten shakier. When the Brotherhood of Freedom threatened to annex the town, concerned citizens banded together and hired regulators, a mercenary gang led by Jeremiah Braxton, to keep the Brotherhood out. But now Braxton's gunmen swagger under the neon lights. Some folks have started wondering whether it's time for the pit to get a little law and order, and whether Braxton might be the right man to wear the sheriff's star. Alright. So, this is the start of the game. You open your eyes into a gray hole metal ceiling, one panel of which flickers yellow, indicating day shift. You overslept, not that it matters. With a grunt, you roll off your stained mattress and open the window to let some fresh air in. Like everything else around here, fresh is relative. The ship does its best to recycle air and water, but cargo holds aren't high on her priority list. You breathe in metal and burning oil and look up. 4 of the bridge's 6 projectors are still operational, shining dully down on the container tower of Cargo Hold 3, better known as the Pit, the Free City. Calling the Pit a city is a bit of a stretch, so calling it this reddish-brown liquid water, you've read that the water is supposedly to be clear and the cities are supposed to be big, but no shipborne has ever seen either. Maybe in another 100 years, water will look and taste like oil, and people will be talking about good old days when the color of rust and tasted refreshingly bitter and tangy. That's the kind of optimism that keeps you going. The elevator crawls up a groove in the cargo holds. The elevator crawls up a groove in the cargo holds wall like a black steel bug that's worn a path traveling to the bridge and back. It's time to get up there and earn a few credits, but first you need a drink. For the last few years you've been doing odd jobs for Tanner, a local hustler with a nose to make money. He's never tried to screw you over, which is pretty close to being virtuous in this town. Still, there is a first time for everything. Whiskey Jack is added to the map. Meet Tanner in the nearby bar called Whiskey Jack. Don't forget your gun. You never know when it might come in handy, so I'm going with the good old bolt action pipe rifle. And my backup knife is going to be a camp knife. Alright. So, this is our inventory right here. This is our stats right here, showing everything in regards to that. This is our bolt action rifle we have. We have 16 rounds for it, 1 in the chamber and 15 here. We got some med kits. Alright, so put that in. Where can I put that? Equip. There we go. We have our credits here. This is our money, and that's that. Alright, so let's zoom out a little bit here. Take a look around. So we got a little bit of everything going on. If you hold down the tab key, it shows a little bit of everything. So we got a lot of stuff going on right here. Oof, we hit the end camera or map. So we got, what is that? Looks like it's the elevator that goes up and down. This is the good old brothel they were talking about earlier. Here's Tanner and Whiskey Jack. We do have gunsmiths, armor, appraisals, so if you find anything they can get appraised there. The church, general store, camp town this way, and basically the apartments. So hit our good old tab button. We got our neighbor, Xavier, some good interaction items. So we do actually have something here. Let's see. This does require a lockpick to unlock it, and let's see what we got in here. So we got it. What's that? Flashbang, low grade. Punt. And then we got some good old worker boots, some pistol ammo, and the pistol. Alright, so that's actually in the first chest we get to. So let's go ahead and swap out weapon number 2 and reload that. There we go. And let's go ahead and swap out our boots. So we got boots versus the worker boots, which this one gives us 2D DR melee and projectile 1. so that's just slightly better. So can't expect much of anything at the start. Let's put our ammo down here. Alright, click on these little tabs here. Alright, so we got our active quest. We need to go Whiskey Jack. Another day, Kuro Fry, says Xavier, raising a cup of the black blend of chemicals he has passed for coffee aboard the ship for at least a generation. Looks like it. Any big plans? I got a job on diving crew, said Xavier, taking their sip. They lost 2 men last week, so they hired me on the spot. Must be my lucky day. Diving? As in diving in the mission control ruins? It's like a maze down there. Sealed doors, corridors, and entire decks. They cut the power to kill the auto defenses, which didn't make things easier. Now that there's a demand for divers who can open doors the old-fashioned way. Sounds useful. Can you show me the basics? Sure. If you pay me for my first time, how about 200 credits per lesson? Trust me, you'll make your money back in no time. Fine, let's do it. Like the person received training? Yes, myself. I can show you the basics. The rest is up to you. See this locker over here? Xavier shares some insights in ancient art of lockpicking. Alright. So we actually, boom, got improvement on lockpicking right there. For just 200 credits. Alright. Let's see. We need to go talk to our neighbor, see what he says. I'm done with this town, says Charlie as his eyes empty and lifeless. 2 years I've been here, and what have I done to show for it? Nothing. What are you going to do? Go back to the habitat? I guess so, nods Charlie. It doesn't seem so bad now. The habitat don't know what I was thinking. Alright, take care, buddy. Alright, so let's go ahead and head down. Inspect this. So this breaks down all organic matter. Okay. So let's go ahead and head over to the armor trader. Nice to have a good little piece of equipment. How can I help you? Alright, so let's check the wares. We can actually steal some merchandise from here, but we'll definitely get caught. So we got 800 credits now. So we gotta be a little picky on what we choose. So I know we already have a vest. I don't know how good it is. So we'll just go ahead and pick some goggles and a helmet. Alright. Reason I chose those is because we already have new boots and there we go. Don't I look beautiful? Alright. Let's go ahead and head up here to the gunsmith. I'd like to buy a gun. A wise decision. What kind do you fancy? Rifle or shotgun? Where do I start? Alright. And just let me browse your wares. Okay, so we got several things right here. And I do not have anything worth selling. Okay. But let's leave it at that. I can't afford anything from there just yet. Talk with good old Tanner. I got a job for you, Kuro Fry. Interested? What kind of job? An easy one. Tanner pulls a plastic rectangle from a compartment inside his sleeve and slides toward you. The card is old and worn. The color is long faded, but the raised print on the front is still as clear as day was stamped. A2. That's Armory. Level 2. The holy grail of every scavenger on the ship. During the mutiny, the rebels looted every depot on the first level, but the automated defenses on second stopped them dead, literally. Those same turrets have dissuaded every scavenger since. Is it real? Repeated Tanner. miming a look of disbelief. Son, if you don't have the stones for it, just say so. Don't insult me. Every scab worth his salt has been searching for this card for decades, but you're the first one who found it? I have my ways, Tanner smiled, revealing stained, uneven teeth. You see, I wasn't looking for the long-lost access card, since I'm not a fool. I was looking for Technical Officer Ulysses Colt. Tanner paused so you can show your admiration for his savvy. Let me guess, he had the card and you alone figured it out. Not quite, says Tanner. I alone figured out that how to find a man who changed his identity and died in obscurity nearly 100 years later. I have a feeling you're dying to tell me. Tanner pulls battery energy pistol from his belt and passes it to you. This is his sidearm. He changed his name, but he couldn't change the serial number on his gun. Once I found the serial number, the rest was easy. His granddaughter sold the pistol 20 years ago. Inspect the pistol. It's an old rust-covered energy pistol fastened with tape. Its plasma chamber hasn't seen any action in decades. Ha! The cells are worth their weight in platinum these days. Nobody ever selling them anymore, so the supply must have all been dried out. I thought someone would have figured out how to make them by now. Figured it out is the easy part, Tanner said dismissively. It's making them without proper materials and tools that's the hard part. Why do you think we're making firearms again? Because it's easy. Hell, they used to make them back in the Middle Ages, revolvers and whatnot, except we use synthetic propellants. Are you sure the card still works? There's only one way to find out. Go see for yourself when you come back. When you come back, we'll have a proper conversation. Alright, so why me? I can't do it alone, and I don't trust anyone else. Keep the pistol, consider it as an investment to our enterprise. I feel safer if I had somebody at my back. Take Evans. I saw him in Abe's store earlier today. The dumb bastard almost shot me. Sounds like the right man for the job. Alright, so let's go find Evans. And I think Evans is actually all the way up there. So, one thing I will go ahead and say is quick save, quick save, quick save, quick save. It's a very unforgiving game. When I did my first little playthrough, I pretty much died immediately. So, let's talk to Evans. Alright, so it's basically just a little bit of information on him. Kuro Fry, what brings you these parts? I have a job for you. A job? Truth be told, I've already got a job for you too. All I've got to do is stick around and watch my back while I deal with these thugs. What do you do that for me, and I'll do whatever you need. No questions asked. Deal? What thugs? Jonas sent some gun thugs to harass Abe. Abe here went to the regulators, but Braxton said he can't spare any men. You and I both know that the bastards doesn't want to get involved, so Abe hired me to watch the store. But they didn't say a word about Jonas until I agreed. I'm no coward, but I don't want to go against Jonas alone. He runs this town, for Christ's sake. Alright, so let's wait and see what transpires. What money? You deaf? Jonas's money. He owes the pit. So it's about time you freeloaders start paying for your fair share. It doesn't have to be this way. And which way is that? You leaving the store in a body bag. Might not be me. Are you willing to bet your life on it? On what might or might not happen? That's one hell of a gamble, friend. Alright, so I don't have any of those, so we can only just gamble. Cross that line and you'll end up dead sooner or later. Failure. Defend yourself. So this is the part of the game where you can take your character and preset them somewhere. Of course, there's no cover here. Why would there be? And of course, good old Abe here is just hiding in. Oof. So as you can see in the game, there's areas where you move to, you will be targeted and shot at. So we gotta be careful about that. So let's move over here. I'm going to get shot at. Oh, nope, made it. I love these pipe guns. So let's go ahead and there we go. Really? You're going to take my spot like that? Oof. Alright, there's not really much of anywhere I can go. So let's go here. That's cost me 4 AP. Let's do it. Now, can I use this medkit? Alright, so we're getting 10 health. And we are done with our turn. My goodness, what in the world? Move back a little bit. This does cost 2. Let's reload you, switch weapons to you, and miss. So I can kill that guy over there. Gun Thug 1 will take me out. Or I can change that one. Alright. So let's see. Only have have 8 health, and this guy hits like a truck. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Well, I'm probably going to lose my guy there. Yep. Game over. So that's why I mean you need to save and save often. This game is ruthless. Other than that, I'm gonna end the video here. Been playing for a little while. I do hope you enjoyed what you saw of the game. It is brutal at the start, so you need to play your cards right. Other than that, I do hope you liked the first glimpse here into a good old colony ship, a post-Earth role-playing game. I do enjoy the game. It takes a little bit of learning because you have to customize your character just right and everything in regards to that. You might be able to look out a little better than I did. Other than that, it's out on Steam, so just take a look at it. So if you do want to see more content like this, just like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see what we can do from there. Till then, everyone, I hope you all take care, and I'll see y'all later. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.